At just 19 years old, an age when most people are still experimenting with independence, navigating college schedules, stressing over exams, or nervously stepping into their first job interviews, he is already living a reality that demands maturity far beyond his years, shouldering the full responsibility of an entire household. With a modest monthly income of only an 18,000, he manages to support a family of five, carefully stretching every rupee to cover essentials like food, rent, electricity, water, school-related expenses, medical needs, and the countless small daily costs that quietly pile up but cannot be ignored. There is no financial safety net waiting to catch him if he stumbles, no inherited wealth, no privileged background, and no shortcuts that make the journey easier. Instead, there is only relentless discipline, sharp prioritization, and the constant pressure of knowing that his family stability depends on his decisions. Every purchase is weighed, every expense questioned, and every sacrifice made with the larger picture in mind, often at the cost of his own comfort, desires, and dreams. While his peers spend freely on outings, gadgets, and leisure, he calculates bus fares, negotiates prices, and finds ways to make simple meals last longer, learning financial literacy not from textbooks or seminars, but from necessity and lived experience. Growing up for him was not a gradual process, but a sudden shift forced by circumstances, where childhood ambitions had to coexist with adult responsibilities, and personal goals were often postponed to ensure that his family could sleep peacefully at night. Yet, despite the weight he carries, his story is not defined by bitterness or complaint. It is shaped by quiet resilience, a deep sense of duty, and an unwavering commitment to those who rely on him. He wakes up each day with purpose, not because life is easy, but because giving up is not an option when others depend on your strength. In moments of exhaustion, when the burden feels overwhelming and the future uncertain, he continues to push forward, driven by the hope that his sacrifices today will create a better tomorrow for his family. This is not a tale of overnight success or viral inspiration, but a raw, grounded narrative of survival, responsibility, and character being forged under pressure. It highlights a reality many never see, where maturity is earned through hardship, and success is measured not by luxury or status, but by the ability to provide, protect, and persevere. His journey is a powerful reminder that true strength often grows in silence, that leadership can begin at home long before the world takes notice, and that sometimes the most extraordinary stories belong to ordinary people who simply refuse to give up, even when life demands more from them than it ever should. Every rupee is carefully planned, treated not as loose change, but as a responsibility with consequences, because in his world there is no room for impulse spending, casual indulgence, or unnecessary luxuries that could disrupt the fragile balance of the household budget. Groceries are planned with precision, listed item by item, prioritizing staples over wants, comparing prices, choosing quantity over variety, and ensuring that nothing goes to waste, because even a small excess today could mean a shortage tomorrow. Electricity usage is monitored with discipline. Lights are switched off the moment they are not needed. Appliances are used sparingly, and every unit of power consumed is silently calculated against the monthly bill that must be paid on time. Meals are often simple, repetitive, and practical rather than exciting, built around what is affordable and filling instead of what is tempting or trendy, yet they are sufficient, nourishing not just the body, but also the sense of shared sacrifice that binds the family together. While many people see money as something meant to be spent, enjoyed, or displayed, he sees it as something to protect, guard, and stretch as far as humanly possible, because a single wrong decision, an unplanned expense, or a moment of carelessness could throw the entire month off balance and create stress that lingers long after the money is gone. There is constant mental math happening in the background of his life, a quiet calculation that never truly stops, weighing needs against resources, urgency against possibility, and present comfort against future stability. Even small desires are questioned, postponed, or abandoned altogether because he understands that discipline today is the price of survival tomorrow. He has learned to find satisfaction not in buying more, but in managing well, not in excess, but in control, and not in luxury, but in knowing that his family's basic needs are met without debt or desperation. Unexpected expenses are the biggest fears because they disrupt carefully crafted plans, forcing him to reshuffle priorities, tighten restrictions further, or dip into savings that were meant for emergencies only. Yet, despite this constant pressure, he has developed an almost instinctive financial awareness, an understanding of value that goes beyond price tags, recognizing what truly matters and what can be sacrificed without regret. While others chase comfort and convenience, he chases stability, knowing that peace of mind comes not from spending freely, but from planning wisely. This mindset has shaped his character, making him patient, cautious, and deeply aware of consequences, qualities rarely associated with someone so young. His relationship with money is not driven by fear alone, but by responsibility, because every decision he makes echoes beyond himself and directly affects the people who depend on him. In a world that encourages instant gratification, his life is built on delayed rewards, careful choices, and the quiet strength to say no when it would be easier to say yes. This disciplined approach may seem restrictive to outsiders, but for him it is freedom of a different kind, the freedom of knowing that his family will not go hungry, that the lights will stay on, and that the month can end without panic. His story shows that when resources are limited, intention becomes powerful, and when money is scarce, wisdom becomes essential, turning everyday budgeting into an act of resilience, foresight, and quiet heroism that often goes unnoticed but never goes unfelt. What's truly inspiring about his story isn't merely the modesty of his income, the fact that he earned so little at just 19 years old, but the extraordinary responsibility with which he manages every rupee, the intentionality behind each decision, and the foresight that allows him to balance immediate needs with long-term stability in a way that most people, even adults twice his age, struggle to grasp. From the moment he receives his earnings, every rupee is already assigned a purpose, carefully weighed against the pressing priorities of a household that depends entirely on him education for his younger siblings, ensuring they have the supplies, tuition, and opportunities to learn and grow without the stress of financial shortages, basic healthcare, from routine checkups to unforeseen medical needs, which cannot be compromised because illness in a household of 5 would ripple through the entire family, both emotionally and financially, and maintaining a stable, functional home with rent paid on time, bills managed without default, and meals prepared that may be simple but are sufficient, consistent, and nourishing. While many of his peers spend freely on entertainment, outings, gadgets, or luxuries that bring momentary pleasure, he approaches money as a tool, a resource to be stewarded with care, understanding that every choice has consequences and that the comfort and security of others rests in part on his ability to make prudent decisions. His personal dreams, ambitions, and desires, the things that usually define youth, are often set aside, not discarded, quietly waiting for a future he envisions and works toward tirelessly, a future where his sacrifices now will allow him to pursue his goals without guilt or disruption to those who rely on him. He has mastered the art of prioritization at an age when most people are still learning to balance their own needs, And this maturity manifests in countless small yet profound ways, negotiating expenses, stretching resources further than seems possible, finding creative solutions to everyday problems, and maintaining composure when unexpected challenges arise. Every decision he makes is deliberate. Every expense is considered in light of the broader picture, not just immediate gratification. While others might underestimate the impact of a small financial mistake, he understands that even minor oversights can cascade into larger difficulties, potentially jeopardizing the well-being of his entire family for weeks at a time. Despite the weight of these responsibilities, he carries them with quiet dignity and resilience, never allowing frustration or fatigue to dictate his actions, and instead developing a sense of patience, endurance, and self-discipline that is remarkable for someone so young. What sets him apart is not just his ability to survive within these constraints, but to thrive, to find meaning and purpose in the daily act of managing a household, in the deliberate choice to put the needs of others before his own, and in the ongoing effort to create a better, more secure environment for his siblings and parents. This disciplined stewardship teaches lessons that extend beyond finances. It demonstrates empathy, foresight, resilience, and the power of delayed gratification, showing that leadership and maturity are not defined by age or title, but by action, responsibility, and the consistent choices one makes when life demands more than one is naturally prepared to give. His story is a living testament to the idea that true inspiration often comes not from grand gestures or public recognition, but from the quiet, relentless, and unglamorous work of holding a family together, making sacrifices that go unnoticed, and remaining committed to one's obligations even when every day presents new challenges. In a society that celebrates instant success, convenience, and visible achievement, his example reminds us that extraordinary character is forged in the unseen moments of discipline and diligence, in the repeated acts of prioritization, in the small victories that ensure stability and security for those who depend on you. It is a story of resilience that transcends numbers and spreadsheets, a story of human commitment and perseverance that highlights how responsibility, when embraced wholeheartedly, can shape not only a life, but an entire family's trajectory, turning a modest income into a source of strength, a daily struggle into a meaningful journey, and youthful ambition into a foundation for a future where dreams are not abandoned, but patiently nurtured until the day they can be realized fully, without compromise to those who matter most. This story isn't just about money, it's about mindset, a mindset forged in necessity, sharpened by responsibility, and defined by an extraordinary ability to prioritize, plan, and persevere in circumstances that would overwhelm many adults, let alone a 19-year-old. While most young people his age are exploring independence, enjoying the freedom of college life, or testing the waters of their first jobs, he has been thrust into a reality where every decision carries weight, where every rupee is not just currency, but a lifeline for an entire household that depends on him for survival, stability, and even hope. His income may be modest, only N18,000 a month, but what he lacks in financial abundance, he more than compensates for with discipline, foresight, and courage, because he understands that financial wisdom is not measured by the size of one's earnings, but by the care, responsibility, and awareness with which resources are managed. Each expense is deliberate. Each choice is made after careful consideration of immediate needs and long-term consequences. Education for his siblings comes first, ensuring that they have the tools and opportunities to grow, learn, and pursue their own dreams, because he recognizes that investing in their future is not a luxury but a responsibility. Basic healthcare is prioritized, not ignored, because the stability of a family cannot exist without physical and emotional well-being. Household expenses, from rent and bills to groceries and essentials, are meticulously managed with meals planned for sustenance rather than indulgence, electricity used sparingly, and every purchase weighed against its true necessity. There is no room for impulse spending, for shortcuts, or for fleeting pleasures. The cost of carelessness is too high, the margin for error too slim. Yet, despite these pressures, he carries his responsibilities with remarkable composure, demonstrating a maturity that belies his age and a quiet resilience that is truly inspiring. While his peers may define success by freedom, possessions, or social recognition, he defines it by stability, by the ability to provide, and by the knowledge that his family can rely on him without fear or uncertainty. His personal dreams, ambitions, and desires are not abandoned, they are postponed, patiently waiting for a future that he is quietly building with every disciplined choice he makes, a future where sacrifices made today will become the foundation for opportunities tomorrow. What this story highlights most vividly is that financial wisdom is not a product of income alone, it is cultivated through awareness, patience, planning, and the willingness to take responsibility even when circumstances are far from ideal. It is about seeing beyond immediate gratification and embracing a perspective that values the greater good, resilience, and the strength to delay personal satisfaction for the benefit of others. In courage, in self-discipline, and in the careful stewardship of limited resources, he is already wealthy, rich not in numbers but in character, integrity, and the quiet fortitude to face life's challenges head on. His journey proves a powerful truth. It is not how much you earn that defines you, but how you manage what you have, how thoughtfully you navigate scarcity, and how intentionally you create stability and opportunity from the resources available. In a world that often equates wealth with accumulation, material comfort, or social status, his example reminds us that true richness can be measured in responsibility, empathy, resilience, and the capacity to endure challenges with grace and determination. He teaches that even with little, one can accomplish much if guided by awareness and discipline, that courage is more valuable than convenience, and that the ability to prioritize wisely can transform limitation into security, challenge into growth, and obligation into purpose. This story, at its heart, is an ode to mindset, to the way awareness shapes decisions, discipline sustains effort, and resilience enables progress despite hardship. It is a testament to the quiet power of responsibility, the enduring value of prudence, and the extraordinary strength of a young person who, at an age when most are still discovering themselves, has already mastered the art of managing life with courage, care, and integrity, proving that financial wisdom is not about numbers, but about intention, action, and the steadfast commitment to do right by those who depend on you.